Hi, I'm Beck and this is my Project 1 annual report publication project for the Royal Botanic Gardens Victoria annual report. So the Botanic Gardens consist of two gardens, one in the Melbourne CBD and the other in the outer eastern suburb of Cranbourne. The City Garden offers a huge selection of international flora, while Cranbourne is home to stunning bushland and native gardens. For the last 170 years, the Royal Botanic Gardens have offered spaces for plants to be preserved for the sake of humanity, as well as recreational and educational spaces for our city's people. Both gardens offer extensive walking tracks, shelter spaces, activities for children, group tours, and spaces for private events. The purpose of this publication is to inform key stakeholders of the status of the gardens. It'll contain key information about the past year, including achievements, innovations, financial statements, performance reviews. Some of these stakeholders include government, corporate sponsors, media, scientific partners, management, employees, volunteers, and those involved in the governance of the gardens. So my proposed contents, I have cut down the annual report to what I think is the key ideas of an annual report, which is explaining the gardens, the mission, the vision, and then explaining the individual gardens, a central section with the financial details, and I have moved the balance sheet into this section because I think it makes more sense to have all the money stuff together, and then a summary of achievements, and I think it's really important to include supporters and volunteers at the end there. So the proposed page content includes a lot of blank or image pages. I think this is a really good way of separating the document into sections. So we've got an introductory section, we've got an explanation of the gardens, then we've got financial performance, and then we've got achievements, and finishing off with the people that are really important to the gardens. So Moodboard 1 is inspired by the long history of the Botanic Gardens, drawing on ideas of traditional botanic illustration and a simple grid with lots of white space. The typography is modern but with notes of Art Deco, just as the gardens are old but also innovative. And the colour palette for this mood board is based on gentle tones of Australian native flora with a eucalyptus green and a blush. Mood board 2 is my personal favourite. It's a lot more vibrant. This is modern and dynamic, making use of bold graphic illustration and graffiti style art. This idea takes root in the Botanic Gardens as a city garden and leans more towards the CBD than Cranbourne. It includes bold colours that have been taken from photos from the garden's Instagram feed, and the use of bold typography, overlapping heading type over imagery, or using as a graphic element to keep the reader engaged and intrigued. Moodboard 3 takes inspiration from Cranbourne Gardens, which is the image in the bottom right. It uses bold typography and geometric shapes to define the grid on the page. This moodboard is the most corporate, emphasising the Botanic Gardens as a high-budget, thriving enterprise. The use of background colour and colour blocking within the publication defines topic areas and can bring attention where needed. And colour overlays and filters could be used on photography and illustrations to bring consistency throughout the document. So my first concept taken from Moodboards 1 and 3 is traditional excellence. This is a refined, reserved, sophisticated and authoritative concept, including traditional illustrations. It's designed to show a level of expertise. It's a calm, steady publication that confidently conveys the annual report without any flashiness or extravagance. Concept-driven narrative 2, which is vibrant innovation. These colours are taken directly from the garden's website and social media. It's more rooted in the fact that the gardens are an old but actively working to be part of a modern city. It uses vibrant colours and bold graphic illustrations to sort of convey the energy with which they approach their mission. The use of large sans serif typography as a graphic element on key pages will define sections and bring attention to key details. So the grid design for this publication consists of 6 rows and 6 columns on each page, or 12 columns across the spread. This grid allows each page to be split into 2, 3 or 6 columns, and then the spread to be divided into 2, 3, 4, 6 or 12 depending on the content. The larger margins are to allow for the pages that will have heavy content, such as budget or volunteer lists, and this ensures the publication won't look cramped. There's also a larger gutter in the centre of the page to allow for the fold. So the first typeface choice is based on traditional excellence. includes a serif title font that's authoritative and graceful, while the sans serif secondary heading and body copy is easy to read and befitting of an annual report. The leading in the body copy has been increased to make it more legible. The second typeface choices are a bit more bold, a bit more youthful, including the sans serif Century Gothic for titles, and then the marker script Chantel Light for subtitles or secondary headings. The body copy, once again, is a sans serif with slightly bigger leading, just to allow it to be read at that small font size. So the cover designs are rooted in the concept narratives. The first is an unassuming cover that will include original botanic illustration. I envision this in a really heavy matte recycled card. And the second is my preferred cover, vibrant and youthful, but still paying reference to the gardens and what's important about them. I envision this in like a heavy semi-gloss with the logo and other text in a really high gloss. Thanks.